Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Psychos and Sociopaths, we're going to talk about Ted Kaczynski,
Ted
the Unabomber.
Kaczynski.
Yeah, I
Ted
can't.
Kaczynski, the Unabomber who was a mathematics professor.
Now, here's the thing about him, though. Did the government create him? Or was he starting, was he on the pathway becoming this psycho?
I kind of want to think maybe it was a little bit of both. I think he maybe was one of these tinfoil hat guys.
Yeah.
That just finally lost it because somebody from the government came around and said, we're trying to reach out to you about your car's extended warranty, and I'm just
that's not what happened, right? He was he was part of MK Ultra.
Yeah.
And, okay. And for the people that don't know, MK Ultra was a government funded through CIA to develop mind control by using
LSD, PCP.
LSD. Yeah. And also, if you have seen the memes on our Facebook page, there's one that I put it up. Is if your family's poor but you still want to take a trip, and all of them had a LSD little tab on their tongue.
Do you see that one I posted today?
Yes, that's freaking hilarious.
I saw that. I was like, oh yeah.
What? I'm going to try to find it again because I love it. It's freaking hilarious. No. How many companies do you need? Remember when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor and a few years later responded with 2 nukes? Yeah, this is just the first one.
Yeah. So this meme, so our listeners understand, it's Peter Griffin curled up in the fetal position, crying in a closet, and it's in reference. It's I don't know. It's probably not legit, but Sony was tweeting this out because Microsoft announced yesterday that it purchased Activision, Blizzard, and King Studios.
Yeah.
So we're talking World of Warcraft, StarCraft. We're talking about Call of Duty. We're talking about Crash Bandicoot. We're talking about Spyro the Dragon PlayStation titles. And
is it Spyro? I thought it was Spyro.
Spyro. And King is every white girl's favorite, Candy Crush. So now Sony, they took a pretty substantial hit. They lost a reported $20 billion in the stock market the day that Microsoft made that announcement. Sony hasn't been having a good time here as of late because of all of the chip shortages and the lack of availability for the PS5 console. So Sony fired up their production lines and started remanufacturing the PS4 and PS4 Pro that they had vowed to have killed because the new console was out. So Sony was taking a step back, and then Microsoft said, you know what? Okay, we're going to do this. And then they go out and buy Activision. And then immediately, Bobby Kotick, the president and CEO of Activision, the one who has been responsible for just the travesty of what has become the Call of Duty franchise, immediately stepped down. So in other words, we might very likely start to see Call of Duty titles that are worth a damn.
Yeah, they haven't really been. And what's really strange about this whole thing is why are they talking video games, talking about the Unabomber? Ted Kaczynski. I'll just say the Unabomber.
Just call him Uncle Ted.
Yeah, Uncle Ted. The Unabomber actually made a manifesto. It was 300. It was 300 pages, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And he basically said our entertainment industry is going to be the downfall of our entire society. I mean, he was a crackpot, and it might have been the LSD because they didn't really pretty much they pretty much heavily dosed those people. And
yeah, I mean, because this guy he studied complex analysis at the University of California, Berkeley.
Yeah,
Um,
and he also he was an alumni of Harvard for a while.
mhm.
He eventually made it to Berkeley. He also went to Michigan State, which he has a doctorate from Michigan, Michelin,
Michigan.
Michigan, Michigan State. Word's not good. But anyways, he was a freaking heavily intelligent person.
Yeah.
But he was up there for of the intelligence of our voice for figuring out words, Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. I mean, he even did his doctoral advisor,
Yeah,
Alan Shields. He's a mathematician who worked on measure theory, complex analysis, functional analysis, and the operator theory, and it was one of the world's leading authorities on spaces of analytic functions. So, I mean, he had some good guidance. I mean, this dude, his IQ must have been off the charts. I mean,
yeah, it
like,
was 100 and I think 160, 150
well, still, I mean,
between there.
dude,
But yeah, it was beyond the
that's
point of
low key genius
normalcy.
right there.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was beyond the point of normalcy.
So, but um, it just,
I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I forget, hold on. I know they had to use a game warden to catch him, but he basically the bombs that he used, he set it up to where I mean he did this for 20 years and they didn't find him out until for like 20 years. 167 was his IQ test.
yeah,
But he had a heavy mathematical career. Uh the bombs were the Unabomber usually mailed or hand delivered a series of increasing. God, there's another word. Let me get the Stephen Hawking voice.
Sophisticated.
Oh God, my mind wasn't working. Increasingly sophisticated bombs that community killed 3 people and injured 23 others. 16 bombs were attributed to
attributed.
attributed. Yeah, I'm tired. Attributed to Kaczynski. While the bombing devices varied widely through the years, main contained the initials FC, which Kaczynski later said stood for Freedom Club, inscribed on parts inside. He purposely left misleading clues in the devices and took extreme care in preparing them to avoid leaving fingerprints. Fingerprints found on some of the devices did not match those found on letters attributed to Kaczynski. Now, that's what he's known for. He's known for mailing in bombs and everything and blowing up post office boxes. And it wasn't just the United States. It was also some of our allies. But he was it was really strange. He had a decent childhood. Even his family were worried that he was unsociable, and eventually he became sociable and everything. But you notice a big change in all the you notice some like little things that were okay. He might be a little bit off. I mean, he was in a chess club. He was in a mathematics club. He was trying to be sociable, and he did become sociable. But it was that MK Ultra that really because okay, going back on what MK Ultra is, it was developed by a professor. Let me find his name. Yeah. Let me get some super MK. Oh no, wait, there we go. It's One that's kind of freaky that it was a band. No. Okay. God damn it. Trying to, man, I should have had this all up beforehand. Project MK Ultra. There we go.
Yeah.
You have to put in project because of the band.
Yeah.
It was a code name for illegal human experimentation. Let me find the guy because he was also worked for the okay. No. Stephen Kinzer. According to author Stephen Kinzer, the CIA project was continuation of work begun in World War II era Japanese facility and Nazi concentration camps on subduing the controlling of human minds. Kinzer wrote that MK Ultra used masculine, yeah. Basically,
Mescaline.
it's mescaline. It's basically
The barbiturate.
yeah, known for LSD and some other stuff. But the project head by Stanley, let me get his last name, Godeberg.
Mm-hmm.
But begun on orders of CIA director at the time, Alan Dulles, on April 13th, 1953. Its aim was to develop mind-controlling drugs for use against Soviet bloc in response of allegedly Soviet and Chinese and North Korea using mind control techniques on U.S. prisoners during the Korean War. The CIA wanted to use a similar method on their own captives and was interested in manipulating foreign leaders with such techniques. Several schemes to drug Fidel Castro. It often conducted experiments without the subjects knowing or consent. In some of the cases, academic researchers were funded through grants from the CIA front organizations, but were unaware that the CIA was using their work for these processes. Most of the MK Ultra records were destroyed in 1973 in order of the CIA director at the time, Richard Helms. So it's been difficult for investigators to gain a complete understanding of more than 150 funded research sub-projects sponsored by MK Ultra and related CIA programs. But that's what ended up happening with Ted Kaczynski. God, I can't say that. I can't say that last name.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to use Unabomber throughout the whole thing. I'm trying to be smart, but I can't be smart sometimes. My brain don't work.
Yeah, he had a total the convictions were 10 counts of transportation, mailing, and use of bombs, 3 counts of murder. Resulted in 8 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. I mean, he was actually spotted planting a bomb in Salt Lake City. So he took a 6-year break, and he mailed a bomb to the home of Charles Epstein, University of from the University of California, San Francisco. This guy lost several fingers upon opening the package. In the same weekend, Kaczynski mailed a bomb to David Geltner,
Hmm.
a computer science professor at Yale. Geltner lost an eye or sight in one eye, hearing in one ear, and a portion of his right hand. 1994, Burson Marsteller, executive Thomas Moser was killed after opening a mail bomb sent to his home in New Jersey. In a letter to the New York Times, Kaczynski wrote he had sent the bomb because Moser's work repairing the public image of Exxon after the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Remember
Hmm.
that?
Yeah.
Um, this was followed by the 95 murder of Gilbert Brent Murray, president of the timber lobbying group California Forestry Association, by a mail bomb addressed to the previous president, William Dennison, who had retired. And geneticist Philip Sharp at MIT received a threatening letter shortly afterwards. So we're looking at a total from May 25th of 78 to April 24th of 95. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 letters or bombs. Um, two of them exploded. I mean, two of them did not explode because they were diffused. The one that was sent to the Boeing company in Auburn, Washington, that
Hmm.
one was diffused, and the one at the University of Utah was diffused. Um, and on November 15th of 79, he had actually had a bomb put on American Airlines Flight 444 from Chicago to Washington, D.C. The explosion happened mid-flight, but because of a faulty detonator, there was no explosion per se with the explosive. It just put off a lot of smoke, and it caused the plane to um, conduct an emergency landing. Now, there were 12 passengers that were treated for smoke inhalation, but that that was it. But I mean, when they examined the bomb, um, it had enough explosive in it to just disintegrate the plane in mid-flight.
Yeah. And
Um,
what I was looking up while he was talking about that is I watched this movie. God, what was that movie? It was a John Cusack movie.
being
Uh,
John Malkovich,
no, no, it was.
that was a cool movie though. It was weird,
I
but it was
could
a cool
never get
movie.
into that into that movie. It was where he's like a famous actor and he's uh there we go. The whole movie was great and they had a lot of stars in it.
Talking about Memento,
No,
but another great movie.
yeah, but Memento wasn't. John Cusack wasn't in it.
I thought he was.
No,
Talking about the one that's got the multiple personalities, because I
no,
swear
that's
he was
another
in
good
that
one
one.
too. He was in that one. Yeah, he was the therapist and everything on that one. No, no, God, I can't. It was like a rom com. I mean, American Sweethearts. There we go.
No, yeah, I never watched it.
It's really good. It is really good. But there's this part
Is that the
where,
one with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
yeah,
Yeah, no, never saw it.
it's really good. You got to watch it. It's so funny. I think the funniest part is when the Rottweiler is like chewing on Billy Crystal's balls.
Okay.
But no, there's this part in the movie where Christopher Walken's character they talk about it's like that he bought the Unabomber's cabin. That's where he edits all of his movies now. And I got curious. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to the Unabomber's cabin? I think someone bought it because they sold everything in auction. And the auction, all of his stuff went for like $230,000. but it's
Mm-hmm.
called a news museum in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it's anything that's freedom of the press that goes there, and they, since Unabomber was a newsworthy, they use it there as a museum piece.
Hmm.
So if you ever want to check out the Unabomber's cabin, go to Washington D.C. to the museum. I'll put the link in the description.
Cool. All right. So he wrote you mentioned the manifesto. It was a 35,000 word essay, Industrial Society and Its Future, dubbed the Unabomber Manifesto by the FBI. There was he mailed several letters to the media outlets outlining his goals and demanding that a major newspaper publish this entire thing verbatim.
Which they did. It was what, the New York Times?
Yeah, something like that. He stated he would desist from terrorism if his demand was met. There was controversy as to whether the essay should be published, but
Oh, it was
Attorney
Washington
General,
Post and the New York Times.
yeah, Janet Reno and the FBI Director Louis Free, recommended its publication out of concern for public safety, and in the hope that a reader could identify the author. Bob Guccione of Penthouse volunteered to publish it. Kaczynski replied Penthouse was less reputable than the New York Times and the Washington Post, and said that to increase our chances of getting our stuff published in some respectable periodical, he would reserve the right to plant one and only one bomb intended to kill after our manuscript had been published, if Penthouse published the document instead of the Times or the Post. The Post published the essay on September 19th of 1995. He used a typewriter to write his manuscript, capitalizing entire words for emphasis in lieu of italics. He always referred to himself as either we or FC, though there is no evidence that he worked with others. Donald Wayne Foster analyzed the writing at the request of Kaczynski's defense team in '96 and noted that it contained irregular spelling and hyphenation along with other linguistic idiosyncrasies. This led him to conclude that Kaczynski was its author. So, I mean, just because you don't physically touch something with your bare hand doesn't mean they can't track you.
Yeah. Another thing on that is, and if I get, I'm so glad that we're not like super high up, but as soon as all of our stuff like becomes like super big, we're gonna get knocked down. But he was actually he said in an interview the only way I'm gonna be able to touch another woman after a while was to become one, and it was kind of strange kind of thinking and everything like that.
Hmm.
Uh, that's the
See,
train of thought.
nowadays everybody's like, "Oh, that's normal."
Yeah,
How we
but
and I'm going to say this, and this is going to be the thing that gets us canceled. But how far have we fallen as a society?
yeah, it's
it's
it's getting weird out there.
it's dude, it's ridiculous.
Well, and we got to because I've done so many. Well, so many. We only done like I think 176 episodes, but 4 or 5 of them have been over woke culture, and I keep on talking about it because it's just ridiculous. They band together hoping to, and this is more allude to our social media standing now, to the fact of if Ted Kaczynski was,
Look at you, you said his name right.
yeah, if
Proud of
he
you,
was
bud.
actually, and I will ruin it now forever since you congratulated me. My brain's like, oh no, we're supposed to switch to the fuck off. But in lieu of that, in social media now, he would actually probably had like a big following and everything. And what's really sad is he was totally anti technology and everything, but he would probably gotten his word across like more prominently now.
How's the saying go? You what is it? You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he would. I completely see him in today's world embracing the culture that he absolutely despised
Oh yeah.
in order to get his
I,
message
w-
across.
I was totally thinking that because in the long run and everything like that, I mean, in, in an interview of talking of how he was going to survive and everything was the basic fact of he went out, lived in the cabin and everything, and he said, "I'm going to either die in this cabin or I'm going to survive." And when I
Yeah.
survived, and that's when he ended up starting killing people.
See, he critiqued civilization as we knew it then, to this thing called anarcho primitivism.
Yeah.
It's a political ideology, an anarchist critique of civilization that advocates the return to non civilized ways of life through deindustrialization, abolition of division of labor or specialization, and the abandonment of large scale organization and high technology. Um, so, I mean, it kind of goes on to, critique the origins and the progress of the industrial revolution and an industrial society. So according to that train of thought, the shift from hunter gatherer to agricultural subsistence during the Neolithic revolution, which I'll get into here in just a second, gave rise to coercion, social alienation, and social stratification. So when we're talking about Neolithic revolution, it's it's talking about the first agricultural revolution. It was when we saw the first wide scale transition of many human cultures during the Neolithic period, from a lifestyle of hunting and gathering to one of agriculture and settlement. Um, and it really kind of gave rise to the ability of us to kind of settle and build large cities. And it was kind of like the springboard forward from like, hey, we're going to stop living in caves now to, and we're going to set up villages and we're going to set up towns and hamlets and eventually we're going to set up cities. And the larger the gathering of people, the odds of somebody having an idea that is going to make an advancement for humankind went up exponentially. So, but he, I mean, he rejected and criticized anarchist primitist views. So, I mean,
Yes.
even though his critiques bore a lot of the same similarities, he really I guess he couldn't see the forest for the trees, and I think that was the ironic part of what he was trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because he was always talking about how modern society, social media, well, back then the rise of the infancy, the infancy of social media, um, and then yeah, I mean, because
Well, you
chat
also
rooms
got
were starting to become a thing on AOL.
well, no. The thing about him, it,
Mhm.
okay, he was captured in the 90s.
Yeah.
He did all this for 20 years.
Hmm.
So all that stuff, I mean, the chat rooms haven't been even available, but
Well, no,
the
you're
stuff in
right. You're
the
right.
80s,
You're right.
this
But I
the
mean,
stuff in the 80s that we had was it was like the minute stuff. I mean, we were only using the internet for uh
business and military
business.
applications.
Yeah, very very small and minute stuff. And it wasn't until like the late 89 we started doing emails. And it was only before big corporations and stuff like that. And it might have been even sooner than that. But he saw all this coming and he did not like it. And he wanted to the point to where he wanted everybody to go back to the tricks. But here's the thing: it's kind of a tit for tat type deal. And this is just my thinking on this. There's a good thing for society to be in groups and of people and everything, and big cities and everything like that. You get a big development in art, even in medical advancement, because you got more minds working on the same problem. There's this website, I can't remember it now, but it's one of those YouTube videos that I watch, but I just can't remember what it is. And it was a development of scientists, and not even science. Some of the people were just loved puzzles, and it was making chemicals and stuff like that, and they were just attaching stuff and seeing if it would work. And the like mind of these people, what we have now, because we have a vast information, we can make complex chemicals faster, because sometimes the person's not that bright, but they can come up with they like puzzles, and they're pretty good at them.
Yeah.
And that's how we get in a society of group minded, where we have big cities and stuff like that. But it's so sad to think that our lives would be better without all these advancements. I mean, yeah, we have trolls, we have people that their basic train of thought is so toxic that it develops them to other people, which is really sad. And that toxicity ends up bringing out the worst in everybody, and they get gathered up and they cause wokeness to where, oh, you have to think this way. I'm like, fuck you, no, I don't.
Being woke, and I hate to break this to the woke crowd, but being woke puts you just one bad day away from being a full-blown fascist.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for independent thought, independent thinking, independent behavior. I mean, because we are defined by our individualism, and at least in my opinion, we are. And while I am not taking away from the importance of relationships, because, no man is an island, period. And I say no man, I'm talking about humankind. I'm talking about human beings, Homo sapiens. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We can't thrive by ourselves. I mean, we can't be gifted like Emerson. Emerson was when he wrote oh crap. What was where he goes, and now I feel incredibly stupid because I can't think of the name of that book that he wrote. Anyways, so
What was his full name?
Emerson, Jesus Christ. Hold on.
Bozer?
No.
No.
Holy crap.
Self-reliance?
My brain just completely.
Ralph Waldo Emerson?
Yes, thank you. And it was the book.
Self-reliance,
Yes.
nature, essays of Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yes. Oh my God.
Which books? What books are you talking about? What book are you talking about?
Don't take my thunder away from me here.
Not trying to.
Yes, and for those of you who noticed the very decided, pronounced dead air, that is me doing a research here, which is I should have done a little bit more in depth. Lip.
I might take this away from me because I think I found it. But this is actually a good quote.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the book Self Reliance is basically essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson. The need for each individual to avoid confrontation and false consistency and follow his
You know what
own
it is? It
ideas.
wasn't Emerson that I was, or Ralph Waldo Emerson. I was thinking Emerson. I was thinking about Henry David Thoreau. He wrote a book called Walden.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the premise of Walden, he basically just he reflected upon living a simple life, work, living in simple surroundings. It was kind of like a declaration of independence for himself. But as he's going through, and it was a social experiment basically of the time, kind of a thing. So even though he was trying to live the life of a hermit and trying to buck the trends of routine, he found himself taking the same trails time after time after time after time, because human beings are creatures of habit.
Yeah, I try not to be a creature of habit only because training. I mean, military and as a correctional officer, you don't want to, because if they know they're going to do the same thing at this point in time.
I mean, because that breeds predictability and
Yeah.
complacency. But I think, it, and we might be getting off track with this, but with Kaczynski, he was really wanting us to kind of get away from technology. He wanted us to go back to a more primitive mindset. And even though he was espousing these views, he was also, kind of like shirking them off. I mean, he was dismissing them as saying, no, this is not what I believe, even though it's what his 35,000 word manifesto was preaching.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's exactly what it was.
But it just shows of how
it was almost as if he was too
fucking
intelligent for his own good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of I think it was Einstein that said it. Intelligence is the border between sanity and insanity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally true. I mean, so many people that we went over on this podcast so far, some of them were so intelligent that they went mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even
because I think with the massive amount of knowledge that a person can store inside their brain, I think that at a certain point, once that knowledge approaches a certain line, it begins to inhibit your ability to rely on faith.
Yeah.
And you start to question everything. And I mean, we should be inquisitive. I'm not discouraging inquisitiveness. We should be inquisitive. We should be able to look for things. We should be able to look out and can wonder, how did that get there? And how do I get there? How do I explore that?
No, you're absolutely right. But
but at a certain point, we still have to maintain a certain grounding. It for me, I believe in heaven and hell. I do. And and I believe that the word of God is the ultimate law that we all have to answer to. Do I pretend to know everything? Absolutely not. That's how you get in trouble. You pretend, right? Do I even come close to knowing enough to get myself in trouble? Yeah. There's certain lines they've got the okay, you're just smart enough to know how to breathe. Now you're smart enough to know how to get yourself grounded because you got a smart mouth.
Yeah.
Then
it's that moral
once you go
compass.
From there, it's that moral compass now. And then you acquire enough knowledge where you're a jack of all trades, so to speak, but really a master of none. And it's just enough. Like I always joke, that I know just enough Spanish to get myself in trouble at the drive-through. Right.
Or you do what I do is you you just come up with a really crazy idea, and you have one of your people that are in the super group, while you're on the phone with them, do sex screams while you're picking up your food. It was funny in my head, and it was funny when I did it.
Well, it's like when my fiance is running through, she's walking through a store, usually with her sister, like at Walmart, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We always FaceTime. We hardly, I think I can count on one hand the number of actual like phone conversations we've had, because we're always FaceTiming each other.
Yeah.
And she's walking through the store, and FaceTime, it's on speaker unless you have your headphones on, right?
Yeah.
So she's in the middle of a busy store like HEB or Walmart. And I yell out, "Penis!" Just really loud, and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And
I would literally scream out. It's like, she's looking at penises.
No, I will not show you my penis right now. But
you're in fucking Walmart. Why do you want me to show you that now?
Well, I mean, to be completely blunt, yeah. I mean, if she asked me to show her my penis, I probably would. But, well, no, in fact, there is no probably about it. I'd be like, "Here you go." Wah, I'm like, "Yeah, that's gross. Put it away."
Here's the microscope, Kemper.
Touche. It is a grower, not a shower.
Oh, that just hurry up. Are you done? Or I have a funny thing.
Well, no, like I'll have my earbuds in. She thinks that she's going to exact some kind of revenge upon me. She'll yell out vagina really loud. And I'm like, "Babe, I've got my AirPods in." She's like, "Dang it."
No, coworker, we were going around town just checking stuff. It was kind of a busy day, but a slow day type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, how do you pick up women? Oh, I just don't care anymore. So it might be indecent. What is it?
Indecent exposure.
Indecent exposure, but you just plop down your fucking dick on the table. I mean, there's ways to do around it, man. You just don't want to put it down there in the air and have it like it's really cold, it's really shrunk. You got to get a little bit of like blood pumping into it. So you got to start thinking of stuff, just watching a little bit of extra or seeing like nudie pics and stuff like that. And you just
give it the thumb roll before you whip it
out. Yeah, exactly. And you just plop it on the fucking table and say, "Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Do you want it?" No? Okay, I'll put it back.
One of these days, I'm just going to walk up. I'm going to give her the pirate approach. I'm just going to park it on her shoulder like a parrot.
A small parrot.
Oh, it's a wee naked parrot. That's what it is. It looks like a dehydrated shiitake mushroom.
Oh. Oh man, but I guess we're done with this episode.
We successfully managed to do it. We interjected dick humor.
Yeah.
Into a show about a crazy person. Awesome. Hi, ladies. Oh, to our angry listenerettes. How about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I kind of like that. Angry listenerettes. Because we mostly have female audience.
It's kind of
I'm seriously surprised
for
about
whatever
that.
reason, the Emperor's New Groove stuck into my head just now, or popped into my head, where he's like, "Careful, the llamas, they spit."
That was an Emperor New Groove.
Yeah.
That was Robin Williams when he was doing Aladdin, wasn't it?
No. Wait. It was. Why did it was because it was a llama?
Yeah.
No, he was talking about
I
camels. He was talking about camels.
Camels, yes.
But I think the same joke got put into the
it
Emperor's
probably
New Groove.
did. It probably did. But
Yes,
I was
yes,
like, I was hearing
Aladdin,
it.
my
I was
boy,
like
be careful. The camels, they spit.
Yeah. I was hearing Robin Williams' voice when you're doing it. It's like, why am I hearing Robin Williams' voice when I hear it? Because Emperor New Groove, Robin Williams wasn't in it. And I was like,
No, that was
wait a minute,
David
it was
Spade.
the camel. Yeah, David Spade.
All right.
But anyways, the Unabomber has been done. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
And this is Psychos and Sociopaths. Kaczynski.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
I was trying to end on a good note. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here we go. Signing off.